All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, in with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor. Hello.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you doing today from your secure remote location?
Once again, due to reasons, circumstances completely out of our control, here we are phoning in our radio show. Thank you, DC, our producer, for making it happen. And we are also with Nicole Shapiro for the second week in a row, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on today.
We appreciate your time. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., discussing everything real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors. We've been guiding, advising, and assisting clients in real estate matters for 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab, and you can see what's going on at Dunmore Corners, and we get thousands of hits a month on that camera. It's unbelievable.
No more snow. That's when I like to check it out, is when road conditions. But at this point, let's hope that that's all behind us, right?
Oh, it better be.
Look us up on social media, and our shows are now available on most popular podcast apps by going to jruddy.com/radio. You can check out all the podcast apps, and you can tune into our show anytime. And we are also on our jruddy.com, all the archive radio shows for, well, not all, but most for the last 10 years.
Yeah, some of them didn't make the cut. Some of them are in the circular file, but most of them are there.
Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. We talked about recycling last week. This week, I see us talking about reducing and reusing and the benefits of that. So, but before we get into that, let's talk about how you're the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. You have to pay a lot of attention to detail, because a lot of our municipalities, we don't follow a general guideline. So different places do different things, and there's no uniform policies.
Yeah, correct. So even though we're, just a county, we have a couple different programs here. So I would say every town is different. So some towns, they go down to, they'll pick up for their residents. They have their Department of Public Works, and they'll take materials down to the Lackawanna Recycling Center. And that is like a municipal-run program. So
that's on Boulevard Avenue in Scranton, Nicole? Sorry.
Yes, yep. It's on 3400 Boulevard Avenue. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Saturdays, 7 a.m. to noon. And even if your town doesn't utilize the recycling center, you, though, yourself, as a Lackawanna County resident, can take your recyclables, no cost, down and drop off. So even if you live out, kind of far and rural, you could still, it might, be a little bit of a drive, but you still can go and drop your recyclables off. So that's really good that they have a drop-off. And then, so other than a municipal-run program, some towns actually have contracts with private haulers. So that's Waste Management, JP Mascaro, or County Waste. So it's actually a company who comes in. Sometimes they'll provide bins for you that have their name on it. Others, the town might still give you some bins. Or you could just make your own bin, just have something with recycling on it, or a recycling triangle. And then that company, they actually will take it to their transfer station or recycling station. Usually it's outside of the county, but that is another way. And some towns, kind of leave it up to the residents to make their own decision. So yeah, definitely we have to always keep up with what's going on. There's always changes.
Okay, Nicole. So let's talk about things that we can, that we can't recycle, but we can reduce our waste, and we can reduce it by reusing.
Yeah. So recycling, is important, but just as important is to reduce, your waste, or reuse something that you already have. So, around the house, we talked about in last week's episode that there's some plastic items that can't go into your recycling bin. So
I'm thinking like those Chinese takeout containers that I'm drowning in right now.
So what I do for those is a good way to reuse them. If they're sturdy enough and have a lid, I would actually, reuse them to bring in, like a sandwich or something to work. I could just reuse them as a food container again. Or I use them for organization. So I would, use them around the house in my drawers. Sometimes in the bathroom you have Q-tips. I use them for socks. So, you could reuse them for food, but you can also reuse them for other things. So that's a way that, if you feel bad about throwing it out, get a couple more uses out of it, before, if you have to do that. And that's not, just with those plastic containers, but sometimes people like to reuse, even though you can recycle glass jars, people like to put grains in them, or, little buttons, or we use them in the garage for screws or nails. So, they can also be reused in another way, which is really interesting. Do you guys, just from me talking about it, do you guys reuse anything at the house?
I use the lids under my plants. I find that it's nice, for the overflow of water. It catches the water instead of going all over.
And we have a lot of plants. We have a plant room. So we have a lot of uses for those.
Yeah. At the office too, I bring them in. But I feel like they're there's more of them than there are for my uses. So I just feel, and I don't feel good about throwing those things out because I just don't. But it's plastic, and right now we're being overrun by them. I have about 3 drawers of those items, and I give them away to my family members that use them for food and things like that. But
yeah, you have your nieces down in college. She's down in medical school, and she's always bringing food in. So every time she comes by, she gets a bag full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to also mention, if anyone is a yogurt eater, plastic yogurt cups cannot be recycled in our area. And I know a lot of people love yogurt. So a great reuse for them, you could just rinse them out and use them for like starter pots for plant seedlings.
Don't tell that to, oh God, why did you tell her that?
Yeah.
Nicole,
so
you were doing good up until
trays.
Nicole. You were doing good up until you said that. Oh boy.
I'm not allowed to bring another plant over my threshold.
Oh God.
So that is, and so instead of buying those plastic trays, you could just, if you love yogurt, you could just use those. They're about the same size. So.
I would have never thought of that. That's good. That's great.
Oh, good. And I get, sometimes schools are looking for things for crafts. So sometimes aluminum foil, people like, now some programs you can recycle aluminum foil. It depends on who your hauler is. So that's why a lot of this is, it depends. But sometimes even, people like using things for crafts. I know someone called my office a few weeks ago. They had some old windows, and windows, even though they're glass, can't be recycled. But just from, I'm recently married, and so I've been through the whole wedding planning thing, been there, done that. But a big trend was using old mirrors and old windows for your seating chart or like your wedding introduction or your sign. That is a really big trend I'm seeing. I know, a lot of weddings have been put on hold, but that is another great reuse idea for those, older items, mirrors and glass.
What about egg cartons? Sometimes they're styrofoam and sometimes they're that like paper, cardboard kind of material. Is there any reuse for those?
So when I was in school, I remember we used egg cartons for paint. So in art class, if we were painting, we would use egg cartons to hold our different paints. But also egg cartons can be used to start seedlings as well. One of the activities my predecessor, Barbara Giovanoli, who I think has been on the show.
Yeah, she was.
She would do an activity with students when she came to schools or to Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. She would make their mini greenhouses. So they would plant, the seeds in the egg cartons, and then you'd put a bag over it to kind of simulate a greenhouse and watch the plants grow. A couple different reuses for those.
Are we allowed to recycle cereal boxes, pizza boxes?
So cereal boxes and pizza boxes, yes. With cereal boxes, you just want to make sure that plastic lining is taken out of it, that holds the cereal.
Mm-hmm.
And for pizza boxes, it depends. So with your pizza boxes, if the business who's, making the pizza is good, they'll usually put like a wax piece of paper on the bottom.
Right.
And, then most of your grease and cheese or sauce is getting on that. So you can remove it. The bottom looks pretty clean. You can recycle it. But sometimes that bottom bit just has way too much grease, cheese, or sauce on it. So we would recommend just ripping it in half, just recycling the top and throwing out the bottom because, again, that grease and stuff, you don't want that getting in with your other recyclables.
Okay.
Okay, now we had talked last week about what not to put in the recycling bin, those clear plastic like iced coffee cups. What's some of the other containers that should not be put into the recycling bin? Like I do a lot of repairs in the garage, and I know that some of those containers I have, like say with motor oil or some of the fluids, they're not supposed to be recycled. How do I know?
Yeah, so we if it's not a bottle, jar, or a jug, don't put it into your recycling bin. So what are some things that you shouldn't? So, the plastic, coffee cups, your bakery boxes. Some bakeries still have plastic, boxes for the muffins, or your berries you'd get from the store. Those cannot be recycled and in our area. And also, anything that, so when you have like any of those chemicals, like your motor oil or your antifreeze, that stuff you would want to rinse out, right? Because you don't want that with your recycling, but you don't want to pour that stuff down your drain. So really, with those containers or those jugs or cans that have that kind of nasty stuff in it, you would just be better off of just disposing of it.
Okay. Now with the old oil, the old motor oil that I have gallons of it, and I know what to do with it. I know where to get rid of it. But there's a way to get rid of the old motor oil?
Yeah, so you could contact any of your local like mechanic shops or auto sales shops or auto parts. Thank you. Mm-hmm. A lot of them will take oil to be recycled, which is fantastic. Antifreeze is not as widely available to recycle in the area, but we do have on our website on recycling.lackawannacounty.org a hard-to-recycle list, and we try to update it every couple of months. So we do have a couple places listed on there and a bunch of other different items where people could go ahead and, take or recycle at. So that's great. Or you can always, give us a call here.
With us today is Nicole Shapiro, manager of Lackawanna County's Environmental Office. How does someone get in touch with the Environmental Office, please?
Yeah, sure. We have our phone number, 570-963-2017, and that is a direct line. We also have a Facebook page where we'll post any news or some nice little tips. That's Lackawanna County Environmental Office, and we also have a website, recycling.lackawannacounty.org.
Thank you, Nicole. Pat, would you review a listing?
Yes, we have a half-acre of commercial land at the intersection of Mount Cobb Road and Cortez Road in Jefferson Township for $189,000. This property measures 115 by 200. It has parking for 15 cars, and it has low taxes of less than $1,400 a year. On this property, it's got a newer 30 by 80-foot metal pole barn with two 12-foot overhead doors and office space. There's endless possibilities for this property. Take a look at the half acre of land with a 30 by 80-foot metal pole barn at the intersection of Mount Cobb Road and Cortez Road for $189,000, and that's listed by Gail Lewis of our office.
Thank you, Pat. I have a recent article. Buyers are willing to pay more for energy efficiency, and they're excited about energy efficient and green features in a home. So much so that according to the National Association of Home Builders, 3,000 of the respondents said they would be willing to pay $9,300 on average more for a home as long as it has energy efficient qualities that would help them save $1,000 yearly on their utility bills. And they're most interested in Energy Star rated windows and appliances, efficient lighting that uses less energy than traditional bulbs, and an Energy Star rating for the whole house. The Energy Star logo is found on all products that meet U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and U.S. Department of Energy standards. So buyers are also impressed with above code standard certifications for health and wellness. And that's, of course, because of our pandemic. Buyers are willing to pay $2,000 upfront for these green certifications. Some examples include zone heating, purified air appliances, and indoor air quality sensors, and a connection to the outdoors. Durable materials is a highly desired green feature for 66% of the respondents, while solar design is another popular addition, according to 60% of those buyers. And according to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the average family in the Commonwealth consumes more than 10,000 kilowatts of electricity annually and spends more than $2,000 per year on energy bills. PA offers incentive programs to go green, so visit dep.pa.gov for more information. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724. or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com.
We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
And we're back.
We're back with Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. Thank you so much for coming in last week and this week to talk to us about recycling, reducing waste, and reusing items. One of the topics that you do focus on at the environmental office is water conservation. And I'd love to talk to you about that now, about ways that we can conserve water in our homes, please.
Yeah, so just as recycling is a big topic, but, our office, we're also trying to now get into, like, water conservation and water pollution because, we only have so much fresh water available here on the earth. So, if we can conserve it and protect what we have, I think, it's very important. So, around the house, there's some little things, you can do to kind of save as much water as you can. So, we'll start off in the kitchen. So, some people might have a dishwasher or, they rinse dishes by hand. So, when you have a dishwasher, I suggest only running it when it's full, because I know some might have different modes. If you have a less full, that's always good to choose the appropriate mode, but really only running it when it's full. And if you're washing dishes, just try to fill your sink up and rinse everything that way instead of, I know some people, they'll have the water running. If you can avoid that by just filling up the sink, and then just one quick rinse at the end, that's a really good saver in the kitchen. And then, in the bathroom, I actually found a pretty cool tip a few years ago. I don't know if, when you're taking a shower, I am guilty of this. I would wait until it's warm. I'd let it warm up. You kind of stick your hand in. Is it good? Is it not good? But all of that, water in the beginning is just being wasted. So if you have plants, which I think, Jackie, you do have some plants, right?
Lots of them.
Lots of them. Putting in like a bucket or like a container to catch that water. So while you're you're waiting for it to warm up, you can catch some of that water, and then you could water your plants with it. So I thought that was a pretty neat suggestion.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to move on to brushing teeth. So did you want to talk about?
Yeah, go ahead. Go about brushing teeth. I was going to ask you about where the water goes when you go down. It goes down the drain.
Oh yeah. So when you're brushing your teeth, just turning the faucet off when you're, brushing away is also a great way to save water. And then, if you are making any upgrades in the future to your plumbing or your fixtures, always just trying to go with something that, it's, I believe, like water sense. It'll be a feature on it. It just tries to use less water, but without lacking any, pressure in the system. And always checking for like any leaks is a good idea as well, But when the water goes down the drain, depending where you live, you would either have like sewers. If you live in a more populated area, I know a lot of towns are going towards sewers, or you would have like a septic system. If you lived more in a rural area, you'd have the sand mound, where the water would go through, those big bumps in yards. But then the water is treated, and then it just usually flows out into like a body of water. But before that, it is treated, which is good.
Yeah, because we're in Dunmore, and my son likes to go fishing, and we were fishing down in the river, and he says, "Dad, where does the sewer water go?" And I was a little unclear because I'm not from the neighborhood. obviously. But the water goes to the sewage treatment plant, is treated, and then it's released into the river. So, but you say it's very well treated. So, and the water doesn't stink or anything. So, I guess it's pretty good.
Yeah, they have a whole process. I'm unfortunately not the expert on that, but I know they do have a whole multi-step process.
And I can see construction all over the place, like over in Southside and here in Dunmore, where they're doing these huge holding tanks, upgrading all the sewerage lines. So there's a lot going on with that too.
Yeah, big upgrades. It's again. I mean, we're growing as a population every year, so a lot of times updates have to be made to fit capacity. So I think we're always going to be seeing some sort of construction in our lives.
When you talk about water pollution and the awareness of water issues are on the rise, what do we need to be mindful of regarding that?
So a big one, litter. So that's also when kind of reducing. We want to, some people, cigarette butts, they are the number one form or piece of litter here in the United States. So what I recommend is, instead of throwing your butts out the window when you're driving, maybe just have a little can, like a metal can with some sand or water, and it's just a little bit of a makeshift ashtray in the car, because I know a lot of new cars don't have ashtrays anymore. And we've been installing around here around the courthouse and the county buildings. We have little receptacles for cigarette butts, but and even just napkins. If you're outside, just always making sure that everything gets into the bin. Just be more mindful. People take road trips and they'll, stuff will fly out the window. That's a really big one that I really think we can all, be mindful of. So.
All right. Are there any special collections or events March through May that you're partnering with to help the community clean up, litter, or recycle?
Yes. So right now, until the end of May, is an event called Pick Up Pennsylvania. It is with Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful, but it's also part of a national organization called Keep America Beautiful. Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful is an affiliate, a partner with them. And so this Pick Up Pennsylvania event is part of this global Great American Cleanup. So our local PennDOT is offering bags, gloves, and vests, orange vests. So you can get free supplies, and also you can call them, because some of the local landfills might also be doing a time frame of free disposal. So we're anyone who has any questions, we're assisting with that, and we're encouraging, to be safe, socially distanced, but, if you could participate and, help clean up some litter the next 2 months, that would be great.
Great stuff. Nicole Shapiro, manager of Lackawanna County's Environmental Office. Once again, how does someone get in touch with your office, please?
Our phone number is 570-963-2017, and that is a direct line. And we have a Facebook page. It is the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. We post some tips and some news on there. And then we also have a website, recycling.lackawannacounty.org.
Thank you, Nicole, for 2 weeks of fabulous discussion. We appreciate the time we had with you. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.